Okay, so today I have a couple perspective shifts to offer you that I know you're going to love. These were huge for me, and I've seen my clients, I've seen how it clicks different when I talk about these things, okay? So the first one that I want to bring up is how your symptoms move, the energy of symptoms, okay? This is what I noticed. When we have symptoms, when we have pain or symptoms, we hold ourselves in a state of bracing, tensing, let me keep myself small, let me, it's the natural thing that we do when we're in fear. We brace, we tense, we make ourselves smaller, right? And what that does to the symptoms is, I want you to imagine it's a fist like this. These are your symptoms. The more we're resisting the symptoms, the more we are in a state of fear, uncertainty, doubt, confusion. The symptoms are like this, a tight ball, and that's kind of how they feel. At least to me, it felt like they were stuck. They get stuck in the energy. They get stuck in the body when that is our response all the time. Whereas when we start to be unbothered, when we start to move more in faith, in trust, in certainty, in, I'm good, I'm going to show you what the symptoms do. It might feel like they are getting bigger and expanding. And that's what scares us, right? We think, oh my gosh, they're expanding. That means that they're going to get bigger and worse, and this is all going to spiral. This is why I haven't let go this entire time, right? And sometimes they are expanding, like actually getting worse. But I'm going to tell you what else happens. They're expanding to move out. You have not been letting them complete their process and move out. But that's what I really noticed, because sometimes I would be like, okay, I'm letting this go. I'm letting the symptoms do their thing. I'm going to be unbothered, right? I made that decision. And it felt like the symptoms were like rising or getting a little worse. And I realized the energy was, they were expanding because they finally had the space to, and they had the space to move out. They had a different energy to be in where they could release. Okay? So I want you to just think about that. Think about if that feels true. Think about if you've had those moments where you start to feel unbothered. You've done some of the exercises or the meditations or the deciding to feel unbothered, and you felt that. You felt like the symptoms change or move or shift or whatever, and you're kind of like, oh crap, this is what I thought could happen. Oh no. No, that's great. They are trying to release. They're trying to move. You've just given them some space to be free and move out. Okay? Let's just take that in for a second. If you've been living that way for a while, it's kind of a big deal to have such a big perspective shift and start to take that in and internalize it. Let's actually see how that feels in the body together right now. You can put your hand over your heart, just in the middle, wherever your heart is. How does that feel? To know that your symptoms are trying to complete a process too. And if you just give them the room, they're ready to start flowing out. They're ready to start moving differently. All right. Okay. The next perspective shift is about the nervous system. And of course, this is where your symptoms are coming from. A nervous system that is very sensitive and has been sensitized, right? So we had a lot of animals growing up, a lot of dogs, sometimes cats, rabbits. My youngest sister always had like a rat. We were that family, we always had some animals. So we were used to talking to different like dog trainers, right? We loved having dogs and training them and all of that. So one of the things that really stuck with me, this dog trainer, because we had a dog that when we were walking him on the leash, he would pull and want to walk ahead, right? And it's like, that's frustrating. We want him to walk next to us and we don't want to be constantly being pulled on. So he said that the dog is actually very anxious because he doesn't see you as the leader. So he thinks that he is having to guard you and himself, like guard the pack for anything, he thinks that he needs to be in front and be like on alert. I was like, this is how the nervous system works. So basically, when we started to teach the dog that he was safe enough to walk side by side with us and that we were the leader, he actually calmed down and got a lot more relaxed and started walking by our side in a like much calmer way. And I was like, that's the nervous system. It doesn't register us as the leader anymore. And it thinks that it needs to be on alert all the time and scanning. When we start to train it and we start to say, you're safe with all these practices, it can relax and it can start working with you and walking side by side with you.